Why would God bless women with the right man? It's not just about romance. It's not about fairy tales or flowers on a Friday night, though. Sure, those are nice. It's about purpose, it's about alignment, and it's about timing. You see, we live in a culture obsessed with finding someone. Swipe right, DM, like, follow, block, repeat. But God isn't playing a numbers game. God is playing the long game. And the long game is about becoming someone so that when the right man shows up, it's not chaos, it's confirmation. God isn't just giving women any man. He's giving her the right man, the one who sees her strength and doesn't shrink, the one who speaks life into her dreams, not doubt, the one who leads with her, not over her. We live in a world that moves fast. We want quick answers, overnight results, and instant gratification. Whether it's tracking an Amazon package or expecting a text back, we've been conditioned to believe that speed equals success. But when it comes to matters of the heart, especially something as meaningful as a relationship ordained by God, speed isn't the point. Timing is. When people talk about love or finding the right partner, they often ask, when is it going to happen? Or why is it taking so long? But very few stop to ask, why not now, in a reflective way? And that's a far more powerful question. The truth is, God is never in a rush. He's not on your timeline. He's not responding to social pressure. And he certainly doesn't panic when we feel like we're running out of time. God moves with purpose, and his timing is never random. It's not accidental or reactive. It's intentional. When God blesses a woman with the right man, it's not because she begged long enough or waited quietly enough. It's because the moment was right. Because something in her and something in him aligned in a way that couldn't have happened earlier. Think about a farmer planting a seed. That farmer doesn't go dig it up every day to check if it's growing. He trusts the process. He knows that if the soil is right and the seed is healthy, growth is inevitable for a time. That's how God works. When you're waiting for the right person, you're in that in-between space. The seed's been planted, the ground has been prepared, but growth is happening under the surface. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't real. What we often forget is that the right man isn't just supposed to arrive, we're supposed to recognize him. And recognition takes wisdom, maturity, healing, and clarity. Sometimes the delay isn't about him at all. It's about us becoming ready to see what God is preparing. If he had arrived too soon, maybe we wouldn't have had the eyes to see him, or maybe he wasn't yet the man he needed to be for the woman he's meant to walk with. Timing isn't delay, it's alignment. That's why it's important to let go of artificial timelines. Forget what age you thought you'd be married. Forget the pressure from family, from friends, from social media. God's plan for your life is not a copy-paste version of someone else's highlight reel. When he brings the right man into your life, it won't be because both your paths were being prepared quietly, faithfully, until they were ready to intersect. There's something beautiful about arriving at love whole, about not needing another person to fill a void, but inviting them to share the overflow. That kind of love isn't rushed. It's built slowly, intentionally, on purpose. So if you're waiting, trust this. God isn't being silent. He's being strategic. The timing you're questioning is the same timing that will make the blessing undeniable when it finally arrives. And when it does, you'll look back and realize every delay had a reason. Every not yet was a setup for something better. And every moment of waiting was working in your favor. We've all heard it said, I'm just trying to find the right one. It's a sentence that rolls off the tongue so easily, yet it carries so much weight. The desire to find someone who understands us, compliments us, grows with us, it's deeply human. But there's something we often overlook in that pursuit. While we're busy searching for the right person, we forget to ask the more powerful question, am I becoming the right person myself? The world teaches us to look outward, swipe through apps, analyze someone's profile, evaluate whether they check the boxes. And while standards are important, values, vision, character, They're only part of the equation. Because love isn't just about finding someone who fits your life. It's about building a life together, side by side. That means who you are matters just as much, if not more, than who they are. When we shift our focus from finding to becoming, something powerful happens. We stop chasing a perfect relationship and start cultivating personal growth. We stop measuring other people's potential and begin refining our own. We begin to realize that the most solid relationships aren't built on convenience, they're built on compatibility of character. And character is something we develop when no one's watching. Becoming the right person isn't about changing yourself to attract someone. It's not about becoming less so you can be more desirable. It's about becoming more of who you were created to be. It's about healing, about maturity, about owning your story, your past, your dreams, your faith. It's about getting to the place where your worth isn't attached to a relationship status, but rooted in identity. You see, the right person doesn't complete you, they complement you. And that only works if you already know who you are. When you don't, you risk handing over your sense of self to someone else. And that's a burden no one can carry for long. But when you're grounded in who you are, you don't show up to a relationship looking for rescue. You show up ready to build something. Becoming means working on your emotional health, learning how to communicate, how to apologize, how to forgive, how to grow. It means learning to love yourself without arrogance and to set boundaries without fear. It's not flashy. It's not Instagram worthy. It's quiet, steady work. But that's what makes it so powerful. And here's the thing, when you focus on becoming, the finding takes care of itself. You won't need to chase. The right person is also out there becoming. They're doing their own work, asking their own questions, growing into the version of themselves that's ready to meet you. And when your paths cross, it won't feel like effort. It will feel like alignment. This mindset also frees you. It removes the pressure to constantly be scanning the room, wondering, is it him? Instead, you can walk into every season of life with peace, knowing that your energy is going toward becoming the best version of yourself, not for someone else, but for your calling. And yes, for the future relationship that will benefit from all of it. So stop waiting to be chosen. Start choosing growth. Start choosing healing. Start choosing to become the kind of person who, when the right man does come along, he doesn't just notice you. He recognizes you because he's been becoming too. In the end, the best relationships are not found. They're built by two people who decided to become. There's a difference between attention and alignment. A man might notice your beauty, your brilliance, your strength, but the right man will never feel threatened by it. He won't try to outshine you, outpace you, or quiet you. He will complement you. Not. And that right there is where many people miss the mark. We're taught subtly and sometimes not so subtly that relationships are a balancing act of dominance. That if one person is strong, the other must take a back seat. That leadership can't be shared. That someone must always hold the upper hand. But that's not love. That's ego. When God sends the right man, he's not coming to overpower you. He's coming to walk with you. He's not intimidated by your gifts. In fact, he honors them. He sees your strength as an asset, not a threat. And in the same way, he brings his own strengths not to compete, but to contribute. This is the power of divine alignment. Two whole people coming together, not to prove who's greater, but to build something greater together. It's the difference between someone who needs control and someone who understands connection. And connection, real connection, thrives when both people feel seen, valued, and free to be fully themselves. The right man doesn't need to dim your light to feel like he's shining. He doesn't need to silence your voice to feel heard. He doesn't need to shrink you to feel tall. That's what insecure men do. That's what brokenness does. It competes, compares, and controls. But love celebrates, love elevates, love multiplies what's already good. You can tell a lot about a person by how they respond to your growth. Some will withdraw, some will mock it. Some will try to hold you back because your growth reminds them of what they haven't faced in themselves. But the right man, he'll applaud your evolution. He'll challenge you in love to keep going. He'll grow with you. You see, real love is about partnership. It's about two people who are different, yes, but different in a way that fits. Where one is strong, the other brings balance. Where one dreams, the other builds. Where one carries vision, the other adds faith. It's not a power struggle, it's a power exchange. One that creates synergy. That's what complementing looks like. It's not about being the same. It's not about being perfect. It's about being aligned in values, rooted in purpose, and committed to walking the same direction side by side. He doesn't walk in front to lead alone. He doesn't walk behind to chase you. He walks with you, step for step. So many women have been told they're too much, too smart, too ambitious, too opinionated, too independent, but the right man, he won't see too much. He'll see just enough. Because he's not afraid of your fire, he's grateful to stand in its warmth. He won't try to extinguish it. He'll honor it, protect it, and match it with his own. When you're with the right man, it doesn't feel like competition, it feels like confirmation. You don't lose your voice. You find someone who listens to it. You don't lose your direction. You gain someone who helps you walk it with courage. In the end, love isn't a battlefield. It's not a ranking system, it's a rhythm. And when it's right, it's not about who leads and who follows. It's about moving forward together in harmony. That's what happens when the man God sends isn't trying to compete. He's here to complement and complete the picture God already started in you. There's a lie that far too many people believe, that waiting is wasted time. That if something isn't happening now, then it must not be happening at all. But that's not how purpose works. That's not how love works. And that's certainly not how God works. Waiting is not punishment. Waiting is preparation. We live in a results-driven world. If we don't see the outcome, we assume the process is broken. If there's no visible progress, we start to feel forgotten. But when it comes to relationships, especially ones that are meant to last, you can't rush the process. You can't force timing to fit your preferences. If something is going to be meaningful, if it's going to carry real weight and value, then it's going to require preparation. The waiting season is not empty space. It's a sacred space. It's where your heart is shaped. It's where your character is refined. It's where the emotional and spiritual muscles you'll need for a lasting relationship are built. And the truth is, you wouldn't even recognize the right man if he showed up too early, because you wouldn't have been ready to receive what he's meant to be in your life. Sometimes we ask God for a love that feels secure, steady, and whole. But if we're honest, we're still living with wounds we haven't dealt with. We still have fears we haven't named, baggage we haven't unpacked, patterns we haven't broken. That's not shame, that's just truth. And God, in his kindness, gives us space to work through that. Not so we can be perfect, but so we can be present when love finally arrives. The right relationship doesn't just happen when two people meet. It happens when two people are prepared, when they've both been through the fire of self-awareness, when they've done the hard work of healing, when they've learned to stand on their own so they can finally stand beside someone else. That takes time. And more often than not, that time looks a lot like waiting. But waiting doesn't mean you're stuck. Waiting doesn't mean you're behind. It means God is still building something in you and in the other person. It means the story isn't ready yet because the characters are still developing. And believe me, that development matters, because it's what sets the foundation. It's what gives love the strength to last longer than the butterflies. You don't want a love that comes fast and fades faster. You want a love that's deep enough to withstand storms, a connection that's rooted in something beyond attraction or timing. And that kind of love is worth waiting for. The waiting season also teaches you how to value yourself. It's in the waiting that you learn not to settle. It's in the waiting that your discernment sharpens. You start to see the difference between someone who's interested and someone who's invested. You begin to understand the weight of your own worth, not in theory, but in how you live and love yourself day to day. One day you'll look back and realize that what felt like delay was actually design, that what felt like silence was strategy, that every day you spent wondering, hoping, praying, it was all part of the preparation, because God wasn't just preparing a person for you, He was preparing you for the person. So don't despise the waiting. Embrace it, use it, grow in it, because waiting isn't wasted when you know what's coming is worth it. And when it finally arrives, you'll know you weren't waiting for nothing. You are waiting for everything. There's something incredibly powerful about peace, not just external peace, but internal peace, the kind that doesn't come from people's approval or validation, but from alignment. When something is right for you, truly right, it doesn't come wrapped in chaos. It doesn't show up with pressure, anxiety, or confusion. It feels clear. That's the difference between relationships that are built on pressure and relationships that are built on purpose. Pressure says you need to be in a relationship by now. Purpose says there's a reason you're still preparing. Pressure says you need to make this work no matter what. Purpose says if it's meant for you, it won't feel forced. There's a quiet confidence that surrounds a divine relationship. It doesn't rush. It doesn't manipulate. It doesn't demand performance. Instead, it flows. It feels natural, even if it's not always easy. That doesn't mean there won't be challenges. Every relationship has its moments, but the foundation is different. The motivation is different. The energy behind it is different. When God brings two people together, it's not just so they can be happy together, it's so they can build something together, something bigger than themselves. That kind of relationship doesn't thrive under shallow expectations. It thrives under shared purpose. Two people with aligned values, vision, and a mutual desire to grow, that's purpose. Purpose doesn't pressure, it pulls you forward. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that love has to look a certain way. We see the curated versions of relationships on social media, the proposals, the vacations, the smiles, but we don't see what's underneath. And if we're not careful, we start to chase images instead of meaning. We start to measure our relationships by how they appear rather than how they feel. That's where pressure creeps in. But real God-centered love doesn't demand that you fit a mold. It gives you room to breathe. You can tell a lot about a relationship by how you feel in it, not just when things are good, but when they're hard. Do you feel safe to speak your mind? Do you feel like you're growing or shrinking? Do you feel free, or do you feel like you're performing to keep their attention? Those questions don't come from insecurity, they come from wisdom. And purpose always passes that kind of test. Divine relationships carry peace because they carry intention. You're not guessing how someone feels about you. You're not constantly wondering where you stand. You're not walking on eggshells, afraid to be fully seen. Instead, you feel settled. Even in the unknowns, even in the early stages, there's a sense of rightness. Not perfect, but right. Not pressure, but presence. When two people are aligned in purpose, they make space for each other's growth. They encourage each other's calling. They challenge each other, not to win an argument, but to pull out the best in one another. That kind of connection can't be forced. It can't be fabricated. It's something you recognize in your spirit, not just in your emotions. So if something feels heavy, if it feels like you're constantly trying to hold it together or prove your worth, pause, ask yourself, is this pressure or is this purpose? Because love born out of pressure rarely lasts. but love born out of purpose. That kind of love builds legacies. You don't need to chase or strive for what's divinely yours. What's yours will never require you to lose yourself. So trust the process. Trust the peace. Because when it's truly God ordained, you won't have to question it. It won't push you down, it'll pull you forward. Love is not meant to leave you tired. It's not meant to confuse you, deplete you, or make you question your worth. When love comes from God, it doesn't subtract from your life, it adds to it. It doesn't drain your energy, it deepens your strength. And that's how you know the difference between something real and something that just feels familiar. Too often, we grow used to relationships that take more than they give. We normalize emotional highs and lows. We rationalize disrespect. We settle for inconsistency because we mistake intensity for intimacy. But there's a deeper truth waiting underneath all that noise. When something is from God, it produces fruit. It builds peace, not pressure. It brings clarity, not confusion. It lifts you up. It doesn't wear you down. This doesn't mean a relationship won't challenge you. It will. Growth always brings a level of discomfort, but there's a difference between being challenged and being drained. A challenge stretches you toward purpose. Draining relationships pull you away from it. One builds, the other breaks. One pushes you forward, the other holds you back. Love from God breathes life into you. You feel more at peace, not more anxious. You feel seen, not small. You're able to show up as your full self without the fear of being too much. You don't have to earn affection. You don't have to constantly prove your value. You are loved as you are and inspired to become even more. When someone enters your life with God-led love, they don't try to own you. They honor you. They speak life over your dreams. They protect your spirit. They add to your joy, not because they're perfect, but because they're present, fully willing, fully aware of the weight and beauty of what love truly means. A lot of people chase chemistry, but chemistry without character fades fast. What you want, what your heart needs, is consistency, compassion, commitment. That's the kind of love God sends, a love that endures, that stays, that grows deeper with time, a love that doesn't leave you wondering, am I enough? But instead reminds you every day you are more than enough. Love from God does not create exhaustion in your soul. If you're constantly second guessing yourself, constantly overextending, constantly walking on eggshells just to hold something together, that's not love, that's survival. And you were never meant to survive love, you were meant to thrive in it. God's love is a model. It's patient, kind, not self-seeking. It protects, trusts, hopes, perseveres. When he sends someone into your life, it will reflect those same qualities, not perfectly, but intentionally. They'll make mistakes just like you, but their heart will lead with grace, not pride, with humility, not control. And you'll feel the difference. You'll feel stronger with them, not weaker. You'll feel more confident in your path, not more confused about your purpose. You'll feel supported, not just in words, but in action. That's what addition looks like. It's not about material things or grand gestures. It's about how someone's presence in your life shifts your peace in the right direction. So if you're in a season of waiting, don't just wait for someone who makes your heart race. Wait for someone who makes your soul rest. Someone whose love adds depth, not drama. Someone who helps you become more of who you were created to be, not less. Because God never sends someone into your life to drain you. He sends someone to grow with you, to walk beside you, to love you in a way that brings out your light, not dim it. Love from God will always add. And when it does, you'll feel it deeply and unmistakably, not just in your heart, but in your life.